So one of the things that small and mid-sized technology companies really need to understand is that there's a lot of free publicity that's available to them out there if they know how to go about attracting it. Now, free is an interesting word, because there's really no such thing as free per se. Free means you may have to put some time and energy into it yourself. But if you know how to do it, you can really describe your technology and describe your inventor, describe your company, describe what it is that you're trying to do. Maybe you're trying to make the world cleaner. Maybe you're trying to make the world safer. And put it out in front of journalists, put it out in front of news media, put it out in front of bloggers in a way that they can understand what it is that you're doing, and in a way that they can appreciate it, and then in a way that they can translate it for the general public. Because if nobody understands what you're doing, nobody understands who you are, then nobody's going to be interested in what it is that you're doing. So what this is a multifaceted approach to be noticed. Because if nobody notices you, then you're really, unfortunately, irrelevant. So you have to, as a small, mid-sized company, figure out, how do I get noticed? And one of the ways that you can get noticed is by getting the attention to your technology that it really deserves. So what you want to do is, with your press releases, tell the story. A story is a powerful thing. Sometimes the story is about the inventor. Sometimes it's a great and worthy inventor who's won notable recognition and has now done something very important. Maybe the story is your company is hiring people who have been out of work for a very long time and putting them to work, and you're creating jobs in a community. That may be the story. Maybe the story is any number of different things. Maybe the story is your technology. What you need to do is figure out what story you have. And in all likelihood, you have a lot of different stories to tell. So tell those stories. Tell the stories that you have to people like me. Now, what you need to do is you need to give them to us in a way that we can easily understand them and we can translate them to get them out there. Merely saying that what you've come up with is great or that you're a great company, of course you're going to say that. But you have to give us a little bit more to make us, the media, curious, to make bloggers curious, so that we want to pass that information along, so that those people will read about it, others will see it, and then once people see it and once people read about it, you never know where that's going to go. That may lead to people knowing who you are and you getting a licensing deal, opening channels. Perhaps somebody will read about it and will invite you to be on a TV show, or maybe they'll interview you or something like that. And it has to be really an all on board kind of approach to getting out there. Because when you're first starting, when you're a small company first starting, you're going to have to do way too many different things. You're going to have to do them all simultaneously, and you're going to have not enough time or money to do them. So you're going to have to figure out ways to be noticed on a budget. So this is one of those ways that with some hard work and some creativity, you can get free notice. And that's what small, medium-sized companies really need to do in 2019, because it is possible. So patents for SMEs, I think, are absolutely critical, because if you don't have a right in your own technology or innovation, then you have nothing that you can trade. I mean, most of the time people will think about patent as an exclusive right, and that's exactly what it is. That's what the grant says it is. But you as a small company, or even a mid-sized company, your goal is not to get involved in a patent infringement litigation. That's going to suck your resources, it's extremely expensive, and you want to stay away from patent litigators to the greatest extent that you possibly can. But if you don't have protection on your innovation, then you don't have anything that you can license. You're not building an asset. So if a big, large company does come into your space, then you can't keep them away, and you have no way to prevent them, even if you are forced into litigation. And if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I see you have this asset and you're not using it in this particular market segment, I would like to use it in that market segment. Well, if you don't have a patent or patent portfolio, you have no way to license it to generate revenue from that segment that you're not exploiting. So patents are critically important, and they're also important for getting investment. A lot of times business people don't typically understand the patent system very well, and usually business people don't typically understand technology very well. But what they do understand is if you have a patent, somewhere an examiner has looked at that and said, this is innovative. And they look for that as a proxy for their own understanding, and it's a stamp of approval. So, and then the public understands what a patent is too. So if you can say you have something that's patented, the public might understand what exactly that means, but they understand it's special. So there's a lot of really good reasons beyond, oh, I'm going to sue you, to get a patent. And I think that patents are just fundamentally important for all companies. But when you're small, they're critical, because if you don't have them, by the time you realize you need them, it's going to be too late. And I say that specifically because once you start talking about your invention and start using it in public, it's already too late to get a patent. So you gotta go and get the patent first. So managing a budget, that's an interesting question, because this raises a lot of different problems for SMEs, because getting a patent is maybe not as difficult as a lot of people think, particularly if you have an innovation. So let's assume you have an innovation and you're going to be able to get a patent. Keeping that patent and keeping it in all the countries where you want to have that patent, now we're talking about a serious commitment and a lot of money. So one of the things that you have to do as any company, but particularly as an SME where funds are always going to be an issue, is you're going to have to think about, where do I actually need this? Where is my marketplace? Where is my manufacturing? Do I really need the patent protection in the area where I'm manufacturing, or can I just have it in the area where I'm selling? So can I prevent any knockoffs from coming into my marketplace? Are customs good enough, or do I need protection in where they're manufacturing it? And these are questions that you probably need to have, not probably, you always need to have somebody consult with you specifically about. But you want to be conscious, because even large companies, even many car companies, are only going to get patents in a small handful of countries, because they know that that's where they need the protection. They don't need it globally. So I would caution companies immediately, stop thinking about global rights. Very few companies need global rights. Pharmaceutical companies need global rights. Telecommunications companies, they need global rights. If you're dealing with standard essential patents, you need global rights. But those are very small, particular segments of the patent economy or ecosystem. Most companies are going to need patents in 1, 2, maybe a small handful of countries. So that's one way to extend your budget. The other way to extend your budget is sometimes it can take a long time to get a patent. So make sure that that patent that you're continuing to go after is still business relevant. You may be on to version next by the time you're able to get protection on version first. Well, is version first still relevant to get patented? And sometimes the answer will be yes, because it's foundationally important. And other times the answer will be no. You know, the market has moved past you. So you have to have somebody always constantly looking over the patent attorneys. And this is not to say patent attorneys are evil monsters that are going to suck your money away. It's just that they're not terribly good. And I'm a patent attorney. We're not terribly good at knowing the business, right? What we're terribly good at is getting patents. So if you tell us, go get a patent, we're going to get a patent. So you need to have somebody who knows the business and knows the market and has an idea of where the market is going, that is constantly working with your patent attorneys to see that what they're doing and what they're working towards is going to remain business relevant. And those are really the two big budget concerns. Where are you getting them geographically? And then the other one is, are they going to continue to be business relevant for you in the future? And a lot of times you can save a lot of money by answering those two questions.